Welcome to For Your Amusement, a theme park podcast that aims to exhaustively evaluate the world's most popular theme park attractions to determine if they are world-class. I'm Ryan Bergara.
I'm Byron Marin.
And for this episode's featured attraction, we close out spooky season with a bang by venturing into the woods to cover The Curse of the Werewolf, an epic universe in Orlando, Florida. And joining us to discuss this head-scratcher more so than a head-spinner is none other than Molly and Alan McCormick from Mammoth Club on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Second time for both of you.
Yeah.
We're going to have to start making jackets.
Yeah.
Oh, like they do at SNL, smokers jackets. Three-time members. And as always, please like and subscribe to keep us alive if you're watching the video version over on youtube.com/@FYApod. Or if you're listening to the audio version, subscribe and rate the podcast 5 stars. It does help keep this madness alive. And if you're feeling very kind, you can support us over on our Fourth Wall, which is another version of Patreon at FYApod.com. Get up to 3 monthly bonus shows. I digress. But speaking of all you folks over there on FYApod.com, we are going to be doing something very special this episode because we're covering, and solely because we are covering Curse of the Werewolf, because we knew we would need backup to help defend this ride. Normally, I could depend on the guests for that, but I think we could all agree that this ride is unique.
Yeah.
And it may need some folks to come in and give it a little extra juice. So we're going to have all of our folks over at FYApod.com coming in to serve as an additional jury member, and their vote will combine and count as... well, no, actually, they're just going to be there to help us influence our vote, I think is how we're going to play it.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. We could take into consideration, and I'll put up, I'll air out takes as they're happening in the live chat.
And I trust that you will all be very truthful, and this won't be some massive muscle job, but...
I mean, you were talking to Villain Con, the master.
It's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Alan could play spoiler. But then again, at the end of the day, I prefer when people love rides as opposed to not love rides. So
that's true.
If that's the way the cookie crumbles, or I don't know, there's probably some Halloween analogy I could have used. But anyways.
That's the way of the corn candies.
Yeah.
I will say that we usually have the guest pick the attraction that we're covering. But for this episode, I reached out to Molly and Alan because I knew we needed somebody who could be a ringer here that could really help us cover this very, very special attraction. And because we wanted a Halloween episode, and I thought it'd be absolutely hilarious to cover. I mean, let's just be honest here. A ride that has been, frankly, very much panned almost unanimously, I would say, among the theme park community. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I don't think it's topping anyone's list.
Yeah, I've not heard it hit number 1 anywhere.
Unless it's a reverse list or worst attractions.
It's
at
like
Epic
golf
Universe. Numbers. This would be exactly. You don't want to score. This ride is very good at not scoring.
I don't feel like it's universally panned, though. Pun or no pun intended. But because I do occasionally get some, you sometimes hear some people love it.
No, yeah, I mean, every now and then a blind squirrel will find a nut, but it is what it is. And I think for the most part, we could all agree that this is an odd attraction to be in Darkmoor, but we're not going to get into that too much. But maybe we will, because we're about to get into some first impressions. Molly, Alan, what was your actual first impression of this ride?
It's,
a very pregnant pause.
Yeah.
the thing about this ride is it
All right.
is in the world with the best ride. It is in the world with the best ride. So it's kind of fighting an uphill battle to begin with.
Yeah.
It's the tide that rises, all boats. Is that what the saying is? Something like that, perhaps, is what you're going for there?
Or produces a larger contrast.
Oh boy, does it.
I have been on this ride several times at this point, and I have had really fun times, and I have had a very unique experience, which I could share at some point. And every time I've said, I'm glad I had Express Pass and I didn't just wait 55 minutes to ride that.
Yeah.
That would be a lot. That would be a lot. Alan, how about you? What was your first impression on Curse of the Werewolf? And was it together?
Well, yours was.
Mine was with Molly. Molly went without me the first time on her preview.
Do you remember what Molly said to you before you got on? Did she prepare you in any way?
There wasn't really anything to prep because it's Curse of the Werewolf. It's very what you see is what you get, right? I mean, there's no secrets about that attraction other than the fact that queue is deceptively long.
Yes.
And I think The only thing was like, Molly was like, yeah, it's going to spin. And I thought, oh, cool. We're going to spin a little bit. It's great. It's like Guardians of the Galaxy situation, right? And then that was not what it was. But no, I think my first impressions were, yeah, that looks exactly what I'm about to do. Like,
I did that. Yeah. I think I had more fun than maybe I thought I would, but I also was like, don't wait an hour to ride that.
Byron, what did you think about this going in?
Well, the first time I rode this was with you.
That's right.
This was during the original media preview, right? This was early April.
April 5th, if I remember. Sweet day.
It was a great day.
And I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm familiar with the mock spinning coaster model. We even have one at Knott's Berry Farm.
Sierra
locally.
Sidewinder.
That's right. And that one, I will say, bangs a bit harder than this one did.
I think the layout's a little bit better, yeah.
Which is ironic because this one exists in Darkmoor, Dark Universe, a horror-themed world, as Universal calls it, almost said land. And then Sierra Sidewinder is deceptively like tucked in Camp Snoopy.
That's true. Yeah.
Just really, really taking the kids by surprise.
yeah. And adults.
So, yeah. I will say, like, we didn't get a lot of spins on this first go.
No, and I actually will say, because I tried everything I could to avoid spoilers, I didn't even, like, I was like full Indiana Jones, don't look at it, kind of. Like, I did not look at the track at all, even when I was in line. So I was surprised by the swing launch, actually. Like, I didn't know that there was, like, that was in the ride, which I guess is a spoiler, but, you know.
That would have been a nice surprise. I unfortunately... I was following those Orlando Park Stop videos.
Yeah.
Up until about like 2023. Then I was like, all right, I got to stop because I'm going to get too many spoilers. But I had a hunch when I was looking at that layout because they had the whole the shack and stuff like that. And I'm like, this is a really short layout unless they do a swing launch.
And lo and behold.
And then lo and behold, then Alicia Stella's doing her thing. It looks like it's going to have a swing launch. And,
Alicia Stella knows everything. She knows what your favorite color is.
and I'm like, I respect it, but I must stop for the time being. And like, I'll add a few more things in the history segment. But let's just say I did not have high expectations.
Yeah.
This kind of got right there with it, and I did. I'm like, there's a lot more netting than I thought there would be.
I think my expectations were low, so then I was like, okay. Like I kind of walked off like neutral, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Like, I'm not gonna say like we didn't have any fun. I think we did have fun.
Yeah.
There's fun to be had on this ride, sure. I suppose, right?
Isn't that what a ride's all about? A moderate amount of fun.
I know Byron will get into this. As a nerd of like Easter eggs and details and stuff, there's a lot of lore in the space. There's a lot of Easter eggs in the area. So I appreciate that part of it more than I think the actual ride.
There's not a lot to appreciate theming-wise on this ride when you're on the ride, especially...
I mean, you don't love statues? You don't just love statues?
I know. I don't. I was in shock when I saw the end of this ride.
So was she.
Going into this, I'd heard the chatter, and so I was already mentally prepared. Okay, I think this is going to be a horrendous ride. And I was really excited because I was going in with bottom barrel expectations. This happens sometimes when I go to a movie and then like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And I really did think, wow, that was a real turd that I just experienced there. And I remember at the end of the ride, just being completely just like bewildered by seeing what appeared to be a statue that they took from a local party city and just plopped it down next to exposed
Halloween.
speakers.
It does look like a mannequin.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Poor Maleva.
It's right next to Frankenstein experiment. So you're like, oh, okay.
It's for this to be within stone's throw of Monsters Unchained. It's kind of crazy, the drop-off. And almost to the point where it feels like this was a late-game addition. We'll get into that a little bit later as well. But I will say that concept art for this, it is that last scene. They executed it. I guess I just thought it was going to be an animatronic and not just a statue.
Yeah.
But even if you look at the concept art, there's like little lights on the ground. They don't have the exposed speakers or anything. I honestly figured, okay, we are here for a media preview, not even grand opening. This is clearly not done yet. And now we are, how many months past? Like, we're almost, half a year into Epic Universe? It still looks the same. So maybe this is it. This is the vision executed.
No, they had to use that money to execute Dracula's feet.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
fully
Yeah,
exposed.
grippers.
Had to pull it out of somewhere.
That's right. That's in that gripper budget. All that being said, let's get into the history of how this all came to be, which is really interesting because this is the most recent attraction in terms of a history section we've ever done.
I know. It makes it all the more difficult.
I was about to say, this is probably going to be a short history
In
section.
3 years, maybe more information will trickle out, and we'll have
doubt
to
it.
amend it. We won't. but-
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Anyways, we're going to take this back to December 9th of 1941. Universal Pictures released The Wolfman. The 70-minute film told the story of a cursed man who, despite receiving guidance from a fortune teller named Maleva,
Heaven help you.
would ultimately transform into a beast under the full moon. And although this came out 6 years after Universal's first feature-length werewolf flick, The Wolfman would garner the mainstream appeal needed to join the likes of Dracula and The Mummy as a Universal classic monster. The decades that followed would allow for countless adaptations of The Wolfman, varying in storylines and appeal. And although the werewolf would remain a popular horror icon through the years, it would fail to find mainstream success on its own going forward, often being reduced to a subplot or supporting character as opposed to a main attraction, if you will. More on that later. All that being said, Universal would take multiple cracks at changing this narrative via the release of 2010's The Wolfman starring Benicio del Toro and 2025's...
Oh my God, I completely forgot about that
Yeah.
one. And I love him.
And they just did another
Just a
one.
few small beers.
Yep.
You should watch that film, see if you love that film. And 2025's Wolfman, produced by Blumhouse. These would both prove to be both financially and critically disappointing. But could the theme parks possibly break this curse of the werewolf? Well, thanks to Universal's largely successful Halloween Horror Nights, the werewolf has received representation in multiple scare mazes over the years. One of the most notable examples being a maze dedicated to the 1981 film American Werewolf in London. Now, what about that standalone year-round attraction, though? Well, 2004's Revenge of the Mummy proved that Universal was willing to spend hand over fist for a highly themed roller coaster dedicated to one of their classic monsters, if said classic monster could spawn a highly successful 2000s action-adventure film franchise starring Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Now, with the sun fading on the Wolfman's hopes of ever getting a Universal ride, a full moon would rise in the form of an announcement made on August 1st of 2019. Officially titled at the time Universal's Epic Universe, the new park's announcement would also be complemented with a beautiful piece of concept art that would immediately draw in the excited, squinting eyes of theme park and Universal fans.
It's going to blow your mind. I don't know how else to put it.
The following year would be left up to speculation. Sickos worked together, tracking patents, studying maps, documenting progress, and using various information outlets to share in the excitement of what was to become fully realized experiences.
Really quickly, were you guys excited about this ride when we were kind of trying to piece breadcrumbs together back in the day?
I don't think I was excited about this specifically as I was like Monsterland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was on a similar boat. Even in the concept phase, this always felt like a throw-in. Like, all right, this is like a B level attraction at best, and they're just going to use it to fill out the land. That was my take on it, but I was just kind of curious. And I actually had no idea that the werewolf, the Wolfman, was kind of such a cursed property in terms of it's like trying to make a video game movie almost.
Look, that's just how I interpreted it, because I was just looking at just the timeline of all the films involving werewolves over the years, and the 1941 film just clearly seems to be the one that people associate with a Universal monster. But there have been films before it. There's been plenty of films after it. And I mean, the two most recent stabs have not been successful. I know they also did Van Helsing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Which I did not include in this history segment.
Twilight. But I completely forgot about the Wolfman in 2010 because it has one of the funniest line readings of all time, and I can't believe I didn't remember it until now. And it like literally awoke that memory in my brain of Benicio del Toro. I think it's in the trailer of him going, "I will kill all of you." do you remember that?
I will kill all of you.
I just remember thinking that's a wacky line reading, and I love this guy. But yeah, I don't know. I guess continue here.
Okay. In regards to these experiences that people were looking forward to, one of them was a world dedicated to Universal's classic monsters. Early patents and trademarks would indicate that Dark Universe would feature 2 main attractions, one of which being a large-scale dark ride and the other being a theater show. For those familiar with Epic Universe today, you'll know that this theater show never came to be, because sometime in 2022, new permits and construction photos would reveal that plans for the theater were dropped in favor of a roller coaster. Construction for the roller coaster would take place through 2024, which by this point was confirmed to be a family thrill coaster manufactured by Mach and based on the Wolfman.
Wait, so was the show itself also going to be a Wolfman themed show? Because when you said that, they have swapped out plans to make a show and instead in its place put a roller coaster. A little excitement fluttered through my heart, but then I remember the roller coaster we're talking about is this one.
And to go further, and I gotta really credit Alicia at Orlando Park Stop for putting those videos out that had all the screenshots of the permits when they were filed, so you could actually kind of get a visual on what this layout was originally going to be.
I'd heard rumors. I don't know if you guys have heard the rumors about the Creature from the Black Lagoon boat ride.
My favorite of the monsters. I've also heard that, and I would love that.
That would be very
Oh, that's
cool to
great,
see.
because I was about to ask you guys, what is your favorite monster of the classic monsters?
Creature. I love Creature. I mean, in the ride, I like Dracula and his grippers, but in general, Creature is my personal favorite.
Daddy Drac. All day, every day.
I like Big Frank. I like Big
Oh,
Frank
you
in his
do.
ripped PacSun jeans.
Yeah.
They're really
he has,
fun.
he has a cool fit on.
Early 2000s.
I think it's fun that he has like early, like late 2010s, that kind of fashion choice.
Yeah.
Because I had some ripped jeans back in the day. You could find footage of it. But Byron, who's your favorite?
You know, in regards to like the lore and stuff, I do like the werewolf. I love the whole like
The Wolfman?
the death by silver bullet. Yeah, Wolfman, werewolf.
Well, it doesn't sound like he's your favorite if you're calling him the werewolf.
You know, they interchange it. I just don't know if it's been properly made yet.
No, it has not. I mean, American Werewolf in London's a fucking masterpiece. But
Isn't that like a kind of a comedy too?
it's John Landis. He's not a great guy, but it's a good movie.
I don't know anything about that.
It was so good that it spawned the best makeup category for the Oscars.
That's right. It's a crazy transformation scene. It happens in a completely well-lit apartment, which is hilarious.
I can't imagine any of you guys got to do the maze for Horror Nights, right? That was American. Did you do American Werewolf in London?
Yeah. They had it in Hollywood, too.
I wasn't going to Horror Nights back in the day. I'm late to this party in terms of going to scare stuff.
As much as I love it now, I was a chicken for a long time, but I did really like the Monsters House a couple years ago. At least on our coast, where it was like you didn't know who was going to win, Wolfman, Mummy, or Dracula at the end. That house was awesome.
That was
Wasn't there also, was that the same house that had like the faux rain when you would first walk in and there was a guy standing on like a London bridge? It was
He was up
fucking
top.
amazing.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So good.
That was great.
That was the year we went, Byron. We went to that maze too. Remember we saw the rain fall?
Oh shit!
Yeah, and then at the
yes.
end,
Awesome.
you were like, they were all fighting to get some kind of totem of some kind, and then at the end, you didn't know who's going to win, but you would see like Dracula holding Wolfman's head or like things like that, and you didn't know who's going to win that night.
He's definitely spawned good mazes, just maybe not a ride. Well, maybe. We'll see how this does in court.
He's worked well in ensembles. Even though I loved Van Helsing as a kid, I'm
right.
sure if I revisited now, I'd be really sad with whatever that CGI was.
Half that movie was just about like how could we get Hugh Jackman to rip his shirt off, which I'm not going to argue with that. He does that a lot. And like Logan, Wolverine, and then this guy literally, I don't know if you remember, to transform into the Wolfman, he has to rip his like shirt and skin off, which is crazy.
That's metal.
So nuts.
Oh my god!
Right.
It is super metal. Sorry, Byron.
This became a spinning coaster manufactured by Mach, and it was constructed all the way through 2024, leading up until right before the opening of this park, because inheriting the title of Universal International's 1961 British film, The Curse of the Werewolf. A lot of werewolf films, I'm telling you.
Whoa, I didn't know that even existed.
Neither did I
Is it
before writing
good?
this. I've never seen it. I didn't know it existed until...
Chime off in the comments if it's good. Is that good?
I'm assuming that they took that title from this film because it was a Universal film as well. Although it was made by British filmmakers, it's part of like Universal International
Oh,
distribution.
brother. The British don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
But anyways, this themed spinning coaster would be ready in time for team member previews, media, and ultimately the public on May 22nd, 2025, inside its home of Darkmoor, aka Dark Universe, where you will meet the fortune teller Maleva and be sent howling through a spinning forest before coming face to face, maybe, with a werewolf himself.
It is kind of crazy to me that enough time has passed from the opening of this park that we are now covering one of the attractions. It's kind of like blowing my mind a little bit right now, like that this park has been open for half a year even. Does it feel like it's been that long for you guys?
I know.
Well, it's different for you guys because you're next to it, right? So you're probably going a lot, I would imagine.
I feel like it's been open longer and shorter somehow. Like, it feels like we've had the pleasure of going so many times to make content that we've been like a lot, but also at the same time, it's like, wow, we just made these portal guides. We just got to do this for the first time.
It's very surreal. Wild. Like it feels like time doesn't exist a little bit.
I know, and also like I remember even when we were there with you guys, just the sentiment of like how amazing it was that we even got to see it early, and then like it was a weird pocket of time where it felt like we were very lucky, and the park almost kind of just was a secret kept among all the weirdos and the people who worked on it, and now it's just out there, and now everyone could experience the joy of Curse of the Werewolf. and all bask in its glory. We could all go to the Church of the Wolf. Let's get into some fun facts here. There's not many because this ride, like I said, is very recent. So I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel. That's an expert way to intro a segment there that's going to get people real excited. It's like, I had to really...
Yeah, these are really... I'm really reaching with these.
Buckle up, folks.
Yeah, this is going to be some top tier shit here. The ride is about 2 minutes long with an official top speed of 37 miles per hour, a capacity of 20 riders per train, and I think there's about 2 trains. So the capacity is, it's safe to say, not great for this. And that shows in the line as well, because this you guys would know more so than me. I feel like the line for this bad boy is usually cranking around close to an hour. It's maybe a little bit under.
It's usually like 55 to 75, somewhere in there.
Should I just reveal the thrilldata.com average wait time?
I would like to take a guess at it. Yeah.
All right, let's go around the horn.
What is your guys' guess for the average wait time of the Curse of the Werewolf thus far? Which actually should be very accurate, because normally when we go to thrilldata.com, it's trying to aggregate over like decades before the internet was even a thing.
No, not even. It's like just whenever people started plugging it in.
So this should be fairly accurate, I would say.
I'm going to say 55. It seems to be at 55 most times I look at it.
Yeah, I think I was going to sit at the 50-minute mark is where I was going to sit.
I'm going to just go a little bit lower and be nasty and go 45 minutes. just to see, just for the gamesmanship of it. Byron, what do you got?
If this is Price is Right, unfortunately, Alan just went over, but he is the closest because it was 49 as of today.
Wow.
Too many minutes.
That's 40 minutes
Agreed.
too long.
Yeah, so many more minutes than you need to.
That's crazy, dude.
Wow.
If I waited an hour for this ride, and I would just walk straight to the Burning Blade Tavern after and drink until I thought I was Dracula.
Yeah.
Like, or you do no way.
Couple Jekyll and Hyde shots, because
absolutely.
Is that a thing at the Burning Blade?
That's a thing now. They're new.
They're in test tubes, and there's a Jekyll one and a Hyde one, and
that is incredible.
And they are strong.
And they
are strong. Damn. Like, next time you guys come, we'll go do Jekyll and Hyde. We'll go do Jekyll and Hyde shots.
Absolutely, we will.
I'm down.
It's hilarious because as you say that, I was just struck with the memory when I think the last time Molly and I rode and we were doing a challenge at the Universal, or just not a challenge, we were going to ride everything and we were testing Express. There was like a rider who was across and was like, no, we're going to take off again. And I did not have the heart to look across and be like, no, ride's over. Like, it's
boy. They genuinely believed it was going again.
Like, no, we're definitely going to take off again. I was like, ooh, boy.
And it's tough because you're just facing them, so you're seeing their face very clearly as
staring at them.
I watched the light leave their eyes as you like move back around for unload. You're like, oh no.
That's when you could be like, they have Jekyll and Hyde shots.
Yeah, help them out.
Paces away.
No, that's the thing. 49-minute wait. I think you gotta grab a crossbow over at the Burning Blade Tavern or some Jekyll and Hyde. Probably something to like really kind of sip and
This
and
feels like
enjoy
it'd be a
for
good
a little
drunk
while.
ride, a good
and,
drunk ride.
Yeah, something to enjoy the queue.
Moving on, though, with some more fun facts here. I actually couldn't find the cost of this ride either, but I can't imagine it's that much because it's pretty much an off-the-shelf mock spinner, right?
I think it's custom.
Is it?
I feel like it's a custom layout. I have to go check to confirm.
It's not an
but
expansive layout if it is. Like
It's not expansive,
it would
but
be
I don't-
generous to call this custom.
I don't think it's. I'd have to go check. I'm assuming and I'm hoping it's not a clone, but
Are the nets custom, or did you just go to Big Five and pick up some soccer nets and just stretch those bad boys around? Yeah, it was crazy. I remember back in the day when, and I actually believed this, even to the day when we were there at the media event and we were about to get on this at night. I was like, I'm so excited to see the projections on these nets because that was the rumor online. Like, 'cause everyone was freaking out. They're like, look at these nets, they look horrible, and everyone was like, yeah, they do,
But they have a purpose.
They have a purpose. They're gonna project stuff on them, and I was like, okay, fair trade. They put projections on that bad boy, right? On the net. Do they have projections on the net? Or is that just a rumor on the internet? And then it comes down to it, no projections. So, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. They couldn't even make them look like spider webs?
No.
Or like,
I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to be this negative. This ride just gets me fired up. Let's moving on to another fun fact. Let's get back to some fun. This is the official description of the lore of this ride from the Universal Orlando site. Maleva, leader of the Guild of Mystics, welcomes you to a secluded wagon camp. Here you're warned of the creatures who prowl the deep woods. Before long, you're riding Curse of the Werewolf, surrounded by glowing eyes and gnashing teeth. You'll spin and weave through the forest as you attempt to escape a pack of werewolves. First reaction to that is not much of a forest, but maybe it'll grow into that. I think over time it'll get better, right?
I think so.
Yeah, certainly.
Gnashing of the werewolves, that's a bit of a stretch.
They're
Pack
there.
of werewolves.
They're there.
They are there
Yeah. Where?
for a second or so. I don't know. If I'm going to be honest, I remember the first time I got on this, I was like, I thought there were werewolves in the shack. I didn't see them. And it's just tough to see them. I guess we did get on it during day. So maybe it's a little easier to see at nighttime. We missed the nighttime ride on this because we needed to get that nighttime ride in Stardust. But yeah, it's crazy. Did you see the werewolf the first time you went on this?
not the first time. No,
I did.
I got it the second
and
time.
I was like, oh, it's an I thought it was an animatronic from the concept art. And then I was
did too.
like, oh, maybe it's just not working, or we went by so fast that I like missed it actually moving. But then I realized upon my like second and third ride that no, it's just
Just up there.
or
locked.
when you saw Maleva and you're like, oh, that's just not what they do here.
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is, I don't know if this was similar to you, Molly, but I also thought it was going to be an animatronic werewolf. But that's also because I kind of like in my mind combined the concept art, the video of the animatronic they released of the Wolfman in Monsters
The
Unchained,
awesome animatronic, like the
with the world class animatronic.
Yeah.
And then I just naturally assumed, well, they must have made a couple of them because they're going to just
Right.
stick a
Throw it
couple in this shack now. And then, no, it's like, I guess they had a static only rule for this ride because it was just wild. I just think it's hilarious that, like, on a ride called Curse of the Werewolf, 90% of the people who ride it will not be able to see the werewolf the first time they get on it. And that feels like a problem to me, but, you know, I guess this is why they don't come to me for the answers. The next fun fact we have here is the ride was, as Byron mentioned, inspired by the 1941 film The Wolfman. And as he also mentioned, the ride was originally going to be an amphitheater show, according to 2019 concept art, but was scrapped, presumably because of budget cuts. Maleva might be taking her name from the old woman whose son Bella was afflicted with lycanthropy in the original 1941 film. Maybe. It's not like confirmed that it's the same person because I think that movie kind of plays on very on the wrong side of history themes in terms of like the how they portrayed the wagon camp. So let's just call it there and we'll just stop there.
Yep.
There is a framed image of the original Maleva that appears right by the entrance to the ride. So that would strongly suggest it is that person, but slightly different. There is the cane of the classic Wolfman, Larry Talbot. that appears in the queue. So this is kind of what Molly was saying. There are nice little bits of Universal motion picture history lore that are kind of like laced throughout this ride. It's just not.
Is that the walking stick with the silver handle?
Yeah, it's like black. Yeah.
Yes. And there's a star symbol on it because that's the mark of the victims of the Wolfman, and it's on his staff as well.
Yep.
This is crazy if it's true, and I've watched a fair amount of ride POVs to try and verify this, and so maybe you guys could help. Apparently in the barn, the red jacket of David Kessler from American Werewolf in London is in there. Is that true?
We were told it's true by the team members that work there. When we were doing research, we did a video that's like 200 secrets and Easter eggs to look for in Epic, and we got an awesome team member who was like had a tattoo of the flower like on her leg. Like she is
Wolfsbane.
she had the Wolfsbane tattooed on her, so she was like the team member to talk to, and she was showing us all that stuff. She's like, there's the cane, there's this, and she told us that as well. And then we went over to like, you know, that right across from the entrance where there's the barn, there's like tiny cracks, and we're like trying to look through to see if we can like see in the barn. And she said it was true, and that's what they were told when they started training on the ride. So
yeah, and I Molly, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is like this. They have similar to Wolfsbane. They had to like make sure that the plants were non-toxic to dogs, right?
For service dogs.
For service dogs,
Gotcha.
Right? So like because they wanted to have a similar Wolfsbane plant, which would be toxic to dogs, so they were like,
so they planted purple other purple flowers in the queue to represent Wolfsbane, but would not hurt any animals.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's nuts because I haven't seen any footage of it. I guess you would need like a 360 camera that shoots like 600 frames per second.
Yeah, because you go pretty fast in
like
the barn.
Like
yeah, she was like, she literally goes, you will never see this unless you happen to get evac'd out of the barn. And so now every time I ride it, I'm like, let's get evac'd. Come on.
That actually does make me want to ride the ride more, just to see a piece of film history. Because if it's like the legit screen used prop, it's such an iconic. Oh my god, that's amazing!
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I was positive this was just internet bullshit. There was no way.
That is what
again from a team member.
Is there any other crazy Easter eggs that you guys know about this ride?
There's like one of my favorites is as you're walking over there in front of that cart, there are footprints in the ground, and they turn into paw prints.
Turn into paws, yeah.
They turn from human to wolf prints.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And then she also told us that one of the potions in the barn, in the same place, not in the barn, in the like carriage, in the same place where the staff is, that there's a potion that's supposed to be representative of the potion in Death Becomes Her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I just saw that as well.
And also,
I saw that as
this one's crazy. There's like bottles and jars and all sorts of things because this is supposed to be the Mystics' like tools, and that some of them have real human hair from the members of the creative team in it.
Which is wild.
You know what though? If I was on the creative team, I would leave Easter eggs also. So I get it.
Easter eggs being parts of your body.
I would kind of lock off
my own hair.
I would kind of lock off to put it in a ride. You know.
It's great. When I went to the Winchester Mystery Mansion over in San Jose, there's a safe there, like a giant safe that's hidden behind like a fake brick wall, and it belonged to Sarah Winchester. And inside the safe is a lock of her, what they think is her daughter's hair, which is like both touching and extremely creepy and unsettling. But I saw it, and I imagine it just looked. It looked just like this. It's
just like jars and stuff that they got at. They said they went to local antique stores in Orlando and bought a lot of like just like jars and creepy old looking stuff, and some of them have their hair in it.
Creative hair.
Just gotta pray that it's hair from their head and not anywhere else. I don't think they would disclose that. I'm not going to examine the curl pattern of it.
Probably not. Probably not.
I would have to assume it's from their head.
If I notice a jar of toenails, I'm going
to.
Dude, one of the haunted houses I went to recently, I opened the drawer and it was a guy's room named Hank, and all of his clothes were in there. And the tour guide was like, "Check this out. This is really cool. This is a drawer full of Hank's toenails." And I was like, okay, that's obviously a joke. And he opened it. It was a drawer.
I hate that.
Also,
they were real.
What a wild use of the adjective cool. Like,
it's insane, dude.
Fully disagree.
It was pretty gross. I was like, that's awesome, man. Next fun fact: the Carpathian. I'm gonna go with Carpathian. The Carpathian Carriage Company, which is prominently featured in the queue, you'll see it like on like a big banner. And that's the name of the transport vehicles that spin us around. That's apparently inspired by in the 1931 Dracula film when Renfield was transported through the Carpathian Mountains to the castle of Count Dracula in a carriage.
I also read that the Carpathian wolf is a wolf species in like I think like the Baltic regions, and that that wolf is like similar to the wolf style here, because the aesthetic of these wolves, if you get to see them, is different than like the Wolfman on Monsters Unchained.
Yes. Yeah, much different, much more dog wolf looking.
Yeah,
like,
and so this is like an actual breed of wolf that they modeled.
That like lives in the Carpathian Mountains and of like Hungary and all that stuff.
Is it Carpathian? I'm going to go with Carpathian now.
I only know that because of the Titanic. There was the ship called there was a ship called the Carpathia that saved them. No, the Carpathia. It saved the people that made it into the lifeboats. So that's why I say it that way. But who knows?
I'm going to have to assume that that's connected. Maybe that's all in the same universe.
Maybe Titanic and werewolves are all in the same universe.
Honestly, a Titanic ride would fucking slap. I would ride the hell out of that. I think that would be so good. And I honestly do think it would do numbers, but whatever. This is a free spinning ride. It's not a controlled spinner like Cosmic Rewind. So it really is heavily dependent on the weight distribution of your vehicle, who's sitting where, number of passengers, that whole thing. And so it really is a crapshoot. You could have a very spinny ride, or you could have no spins at all. Our first ride was very tame, I would say. And then we had one that was later that was a little bit more spinning. But I've heard accounts of people going like this thing really rocks you around.
I think both times we were on this, the car that we're facing was spinning like a top hat. So we're just kind of like not moving. We're like, wow, like we'd love to do that.
Look how much fun they're having.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I wish I could do that. I also wish I could see a werewolf. I guess it's not in the cards for me on this spinning werewolf ride.
Neither spin nor wolf.
Yeah, have you guys had a glorious spin on this ride, or has it been kind of lukewarm?
I think it was your first time ever, Alan.
Oh yeah, our first ride was the most spins we've ever had. Everything since then has been.
You're the spin master, though.
Yeah.
You go for maximum spin on every ride.
No, but
how many times did you spin on Dragon Racers Challenge?
I think my max is 15.
Holy
so
shit.
crazy.
That's great. That's insane.
But it was bad that this particular ride was so spinny, because you're sitting back to back with someone. The person back to back with me had very long hair, like down to her butt, and it was not gathered in like a ponytail. So every time we'd spin, it would whip around to the point that it got in my mouth.
Nice.
And it was horrible, because it was like
that's everyone's favorite
just
part
like
of wearing
a
a wig
stranger's hair touching me and like in my mouth, and I was just like screaming, but not because of the ride, just like the worst possible, like just horrible.
I thought Molly was having a great time, and I look over and I just see this.
That's insane.
Horrific.
That belongs in a jar.
Yeah,
You know what's worse than hair in a jar? Hair in your mouth.
A stranger's hair in your mouth is just not what you want.
I'm glad you got a spin, though.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
At least it was spinning, I suppose.
Sure, that's the silver lining. Let's call it that. Armchair engineering. Let's move on to that. I didn't even write anything for this because I genuinely wanted to brainstorm. What is one thing that you guys would do to possibly make this attraction? The actual verbiage is even better, but I think I could just say better. Like if you were tasked with like, okay, we've seen your guys' content. We trust you. Here are the keys. How do we fix this ride?
I think the first thing you do is you lessen the brakes for whatever it is that's stopping spins, right? Like you can change weight distribution or like give it some give on its own.
Crank that up.
Right.
Just crank it up somehow.
There shouldn't be a static ride.
I think I would make it twice as long. Like
Yeah,
I would
give me
like
a long track.
I like that you go through the same track more than once, because it's kind of unexpected to like go up and then kind of go back down, almost like a rollback. But I think it should be twice as long, and then I think people would be less annoyed getting off of it.
I agree, and I wonder if that would affect the capacity. Maybe just adding a train or two to help with that, but I don't think the block sections would even allow more than 2 trains on this at a time. So I mean, they're the obvious answers for me are like, fix the
Make them animatronics, yeah.
Put more in the woods themselves, right? Like if you've got space below, like drop little werewolf hints in the woods, kind of like you have, and that's like barely a moment on Velocicoast. You do have like raptors that are like positioned.
You could even do things like change some of the audio to make it sound like a wolf is chasing you.
Right.
Yeah, I think something could be done with the audio, the soundscape of this ride to tell the story a little bit more. Maybe you can make the nets be more like foresty, so it does feel like you're kind of going through the woods. Like if there was like leaves or something on the nets.
Make it like a ghillie suit.
Like a ghillie suit. Yeah, kind of like a ghillie suit.
I feel like you hear the wolf a lot when you're walking around the coaster.
Yeah.
Like when approaching it, but you can't really hear it when you're on the ride itself.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
so it's setting you up. I don't know if I love the light package either. I feel like they could go a little harder on that, and then obviously make the not a stagnant figure at the end of the ride and hide the speakers for the love of God.
Yeah, Maleva is the worst, I think, because the werewolves you go past so quickly that like, okay, but Maleva, you sit there and you stare at her, and you're like, that is a mannequin from like Macy's that is just looking at me right now, and it's weird,
distressing.
There's also like a bandana over her face.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not even convinced there's a full face under there. Like, I think
I don't know if that's so they didn't have to like, because they have her talk. So I think that's to be like, oh, we're covering her mouth, so we didn't have to animate her mouth.
Which is hilarious that that's what you're focusing on when she is rigid still.
I would honestly rather her not be there and just have her voice, I think.
No, I mean, they basically just put a disguise on her. It's the same disguise that Will Smith wears in Wild Wild West, if you remember that.
Yes.
It worked for him. It got him all the way up that big ass spider.
I mean, even like just one of those, like the projection effects that they use at HHN so regularly, right? Like if you just give me a projection of like movement happening behind a curtain, right? Like she's the entire thing, she's a fortune teller. She doesn't necessarily need to be revealed, maybe just a shadow, so you see some form of movement.
Yeah, it'd be cool if at the end they replaced her with a crystal ball with like your future, which is now you're a werewolf.
Yeah, guess what? Because so many people don't know that you get off of that attraction and you are now cursed. Like nobody walks away.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, you're like, you've run through the woods and you've been bit now, and guess what? You were carrying the curse. That's not clear.
I think that could be hammered home a little bit more, or maybe even adding some more interactive elements into the queue that play into like the mystic, like like tarot card readings or like a crystal ball that you could, that kind of stuff would be also interesting.
This is another fun fact, but I do think it could be interactive. If you go through the standby queue, a display with tarot cards, and we showed it in one of our videos, and someone commented, it was like, I'm a tarot card reader, and she broke down every card that was on display, and they did choose like the correct ones. Like the ones they choose were clearly very like specific to tell the story and everything. And I agree, like if you didn't know that, if you're not a tarot card reader or watching our fun fact video, you're never going to pick up on any of that. And so they should, make it more interactive. So maybe you're learning about tarot cards and then spotting these symbols throughout the attraction or the queue.
Even when you go to like the OC fair or any kind of fair, there's a tarot card reader there. I even enjoy watching other people get their tarot card reading. And I feel like if you're standing in line for 50 minutes, might as well just throw like somebody in there to make it a little bit more bearable and give this ride a little bit more life.
If we were able to get an animatronic of Maleva, have like switchbacks kind of work in a circle around Maleva, kind of like they have like the little room with the house elf and ministry.
Yeah.
They even have the animatronics in the minecart madness that are setting up the story.
Oh yeah.
Like if you're going to be waiting in the switchback, like if you had like Maleva in the center of it, basically giving you at least some sort of idea of what you're about to do.
Yeah.
And if in the world where you need to do like a B mode, because it's like a very much like a central animatronic and it's not going to work 100% of the time, have like a B mode where she just is like there with her eyes closed and you just like kind of telepathically has this like warpy voice speaking to people in the queue. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. You
pointed out too that like I know we're not covering this attraction right now. We're not covering Minecart Madness. I was truly shocked by the amount of animatronics that are in that ride. And at first I was like, maybe just take some of that animatronic budget and then move it over to this ride. But now I'm thinking the solve is just take one of those monkeys and put them in this ride.
Drop them in.
Nothing else makes sense. So just put them there at the end.
Put Diddy Kong
at the end of the ride. Or like a Funky Kong.
Oh, he's my favorite. I love Funky Kong.
I love Funky Kong. Me too.
Vibe.
The cancellation of the stage show and like kind of makes me think that there's a world where the Dark Universe budget isn't what the other ones are because it's not as big of an IP.
It's not as
The biggest
sure
gamble
hit, yeah.
was Dark Universe, where I have a feeling that they decided, okay, we got to scale back and like treat this as a phase 1, and if it's a hit, then we could do this other crazy stuff. And that's like why you're getting the rumors of Creature of the Black Lagoon and stuff like that.
I'm genuinely curious, and maybe you guys would know a little bit more about this, Molly and Alan, because you're boots on the ground more. But like, I have no inkling of how this world is being received in terms of like guest satisfaction. Like, is Universal happy with how this world is being populated?
I think Monsters is a banger, as we all know. And I think Monsters is really anchoring not only this world, but a lot of the park, because it is one of the only big e-tickets that doesn't have extremely long downtimes, the way that like Minecart Madness and Battle at the Ministry have a lot. It also is so efficient that even on busy days when those have like 100+ minute waits, it's got like a 20-minute wait. So I think that like,
I know.
if nothing else, Monsters Unchained is so impressive that people like Dark Universe.
If you talk about the world in and of itself, there's a lot of really immersive theming that I think shines at or above a lot of the other portals that you have. So it's to the point where like people have to be reminded that Burning Blade Tavern exists, right? Like, because everything just feels so real and grounded. They're like, hey, there's this big place that has a door closed all the time. Is that where we actually go inside? So I think that there's a lot that's really, really positive about Darkmoor and Dark Universe that people are discovering because, as Molly mentioned, they are being driven there because like, oh, this is an e-ticket that only has a 2-minute wait.
Not to mention
I
the
think
fact
it's a
that,
test.
yeah, Igor has become a sensation.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
He has a heartthrob.
Oh yeah, people love Igor.
Truly.
And I will say that even though I don't think this ride makes any sense in this world, this is still my favorite world by far in the entire park. I think it's the most fun I have is when I'm here.
Yeah.
I think when I'm thinking of Epic Universe, I'm excited to go back to this world. So that's just a testament to how well done the theming is, other than this ride, like you were just saying, Alan. And they tried.
I think as a theme park nerd, as we all are, who listened to all the podcasts leading up to it with the creative, who was looking for all the Easter eggs and details and all the stuff. Like, I think I give this ride more grace than if you are just a guest going for the day. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to know all of this stuff that we're talking about. You're just like, why is this spinning coaster in the middle of Darkmoor? Right. This makes no sense.
And also, like, as like the average guest, you are looking at wait times as an indicator of quality.
Yes.
Like, you're like, okay, this ride is 55 minutes. Monsters Unchained is like 10 minutes right now. Clearly, this is the best ride in this world.
Yeah.
And the rude awakening that awaits you at the end of this one, which, Alan, I guess you apparently witnessed firsthand.
Yeah.
Of somebody not even knowing the ride was over.
Right.
Great sign right there, by the way.
Yeah.
It was
over.
It's like, and it's just the confidence with which they were like, surely we're going to be slingshotted back out. And I and oh, buddy, we were going to round this corner and to unload.
You're going to be slingshotted to the exit.
Yeah,
you're going to be
slingshotted in a party city.
Yeah, it's like I get off of it and I always go, that was fun, but I had Express.
I think we waited, like 20 minutes for this or something like that? It was not that crazy.
And that's sort of like the upper tier threshold of what I'd like tell anybody to wait for this attraction, right? Like 20 minutes is I go, ooh, maybe you go elsewhere. Like that's sort of the line, really.
It's honestly like really set up well for like people like us, because like we know, okay, the best ride in this world is that one. So we're just going to go to that one. But I feel kind of bad for everyone that's like standing in this line.
I try and like think, well, maybe like, they wanted a family coaster, especially paired with, but it's like they already have 2 family coasters in the park. Yeah. So
that is true.
You already have Hiccups, which is a banger. Like Hiccups is
it's such a
awesome
good ride.
Family coaster.
So good.
Do we know, I feel like you guys might know, did they build any other coasters for this park? Like, was this like a BOGO?
Mock manufactured Stardust racers.
Yeah.
Oh. So,
do you think they were like, hey, we're paying you a bunch of money?
Traditionally, I don't know if Universal does that, but like a lot of other like regional like park chains like Cedar Fair, Six Flags, it'll be you buy a bundle of coasters to get a deal with a certain manufacturer.
That makes a lot more sense, honestly.
And I mean, frankly, if
I
there's
think this
already
might be
like
a BOGO coaster.
Do we think this
So-
was a BOGO because of Stardust?
and if there's like, if you have to cut entertainment due to budgetary restrictions, you're like, hey, well, we didn't know we were going to save this in our back pocket for later. Just drop it in Darkmoor. Like, I think that.
Yeah.
Where, what can we put in this space? And then they're like, who's got an idea? And Mock's like, we could build you a coaster for this much money.
I'm curious how that's. We're probably going to get more into that in the
Because
world class tests.
It's kind of like you mentioned with the concept art where you could kind of see an amphitheater on like the outskirt.
yeah.
That I'm wondering now. It's because by moving it to the center of the world, they're thinking, well, if Dark Universe is not that popular, we have more space now by getting the attraction away from the perimeter to build something.
Yeah,
there
because they have
where-
expansion zones behind each of these portals.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good theory. But either way, we are now moving to the good and the bad. That's 5 good things and however many bads. We're gonna say some very positive things about this ride right now. We're all gonna dig deep and we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I like the Wolfman. I think he's a fun guy.
Right.
I'm glad he got his own attraction. I wish it wasn't this one. They tried. I'll just say that. I do think that there is an audience for this roller coaster because it is a family coaster. Of the 3 family coasters that are at this park, it is far and away the worst one. But I do think not everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So it will eat people, as we have seen.
Yeah.
It's a filler ride.
It's a filler ride with too long of a line for a filler ride, though.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
That is.
It's a filler ride that eats a lot of capacity, like a lot of people do to low capacity load and unload.
Well, that was 5 goods and however many bads. Let's move on.
Right, like
Just-
That was 5?
That's
Wow.
all. That's all. Byron, what do you got for this?
I will say I think the entrance and like the marquee entering the attraction is phenomenal.
It's well
with
done.
that
I think
wolf?
it's
And
got
the
the
wagon.
face
The
of the wolf.
wagons.
Yeah.
You got it looks like a legitimate wagon camp.
Yeah.
Love the signage with Maleva on there. Like, oh, I could, like basically ushering you in there to kind of see your fate and stuff like that. I think aesthetically from the entrance, it's like it invites you in. You think it's going to be something
Dude.
that is going to be kind of fleshed out all the way through.
No.
You're like a
But
person
I will say
describing
it's
like
got-
a date that they got on a Hinge, but they're like saying like, well, some of the pictures, if you look at it from this, like they look really good.
And you squint your eyes.
They're really cute
Yeah.
in this picture, and the other ones just don't look at those. But it's a fun ride. You're gonna have a good time.
It looks very promising.
I was very excited by the signage and like the facade for this ride. Like the wagon camp looks fantastic.
Yeah, and the look of that werewolf, it's like it's
It's a beefy wolf.
yeah.
Like,
I'm
it-
trying to think. It's not like a mounted head because it's not like an actual like wolf head. It's like a kind of like a little statue of sorts or whatever sticking out of the wagon.
It's like he's coming out of the wagon.
It looks sick at
Kinda.
night.
I know it does look
great
sick.
lighting. It's got kind of like the yellow glowing eyes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and then it's got like
It
an
almost
orb,
got
like
us.
fortune tellery kind of like thing
Vibe
right
around
there. Yeah, I like that it does double back a little bit because I also didn't really watch it when I was walking up to it because I didn't want to get too spoiled. So I thought we would go one time, and then when we kind of like did a rollback and went through the barn again, I was like, oh, that's nice.
It's exactly how I felt. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
More right.
But
Yeah.
bonus launch.
I also like the load zone a little bit. I think.
Yeah,
It's a good load zone.
Yeah.
the moon on the
moon?
roof.
That's right.
That's kind of
Yeah.
cool. I like that. That's pretty fun.
Yeah. I like conceptually that you spin. I like the concept of spinning. It's great.
Yes. The good woodwork on this attraction.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
Beautiful.
phenomenal
On the
carpentry.
trains.
Phenomenal
Yes.
carpentry.
And again, we mentioned a bunch of them, but like I like all the details and Easter eggs and stuff that you can look for
In the queue.
If in the queue and around, if you are into that sort of lore and thing in theme parks.
At least they put the effort there because they look. I get the feeling that this is in the realm of a BOGO coaster in which they had their hands tied quite a bit, Universal Creative, with the budget that they were given. And I think given the budget that they had, I could confidently say that they at least tried their best because like some of the stuff in the queue is extremely well done. And it does kind of have the feel of like they just ran out of money. Because like the nets, I can't imagine that was plan A. But I'll tell you what, I bet you those nets would catch the hell out of somebody.
Yeah, if
or a
your
or
phone
something.
flies out, they got you.
They got you. This
This
just
net, feel foolproof.
Yeah, it feels like somebody in the decision-making team was like, we have X amount of time to get this thing done, so there are some things that you just won't be able to accomplish. And that just feels like this, unfortunately, it was like, well, in order for us to accomplish more things elsewhere, we will then dedicate less time and effort and energy on this. And that's sort of where we ended up.
I think right now we're doing a good service. I'm going to put that out there because I think this is the longest anyone's ever talked about this ride, and
True.
I do think this will serve as a time capsule of sorts because I'm confident, and we'll get into this in the world class test, that this ride will not look like this 5-10 years from now. It may not even be this ride. So like to go back and look at where we came from, this is going to be a real fun moment to look back and be like, wow, look how far we've come. Look, the nets have projections on them. We see her face.
It moves, guys. It moves.
She has a mouth. Holy shit! How about
We didn't
that?
think it was under there this whole time.
I had a feeling
They're
it was.
they're gonna purchase the Anna and Elsa from Frozen Ever After they swap them with the
face mapping.
the updated animatronics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
dude. We'll see.
They'll get a BOGO there.
They
will.
yeah.
Yeah, two sisters.
They will.
I don't know what they're gonna do with the Olaf, but no, he didn't have one of those faces.
No,
he had
Olaf
a normal
has a sculpted
face.
face.
He has a
and Sven
sculpted,
has a
yeah.
sculpted
Yeah, that was nice. If we're gonna be replacing faces, we could replace that face in Monsters Unchained too. That's the only criticism I have of that entire ride. That Victoria Frankenstein, for some reason,
Yeah, I
has
do
a
wonder
projection
why in
face.
the pre-show, but on the ride she's
in the
sculpted.
pre-show.
It's very
It doesn't
odd.
make any sense to me.
And then when-
'cause it doesn't look
especially
good
when-
on camera either.
Yeah, when Monster is just like, I mean, one of the most beautiful animatronics that ever like walks out is wild.
I
And
know
then-
it's
then-
a little odd.
Maybe it's a stark comparison with like, oh,
Yeah.
No,
I
too.
want to know why she's projected in the pre-show, but real in the queue or in the ride.
I kick myself for not asking Francesca that when we were interviewing her in the foyer.
Next time I see, because I sometimes see Greg Hall, I will ask him, and I will. I will get.
I wanna know.
Try to get us an answer.
yeah. Like respectfully, can you explain it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, is there a way to frame that question where it's not like, why did you do this? But
Yeah.
like,
I would just be like, what was the decision making? I noticed. You know.
yeah, I know. I noticed that her face looks different in this
Yeah.
part.
There's a bit of an inconsistency, and I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah.
Also, Maleva, mouth?
Question mark?
Question mark?
While I got you,
Mouth?
while I have you here, does she have a mouth?
While I have your ear here, speaking of ears, does she have a mouth? 'Cause we're all
Another facial accoutrement. Does she perhaps?
Yeah.
It's a little crazy that you chose to expose the feet,
Yeah.
but not the
Not
mouth
her
of a
face.
person who is saying an entire monologue at the end of a ride. I think that's a
Unmoving.
fascinating choice. What were you thinking there? But I don't think we need to go into the bads. I feel like we've harped on it enough. Right?
Well, we could.
Okay,
I'll
let's
say-
do it some more.
Byron's like, I've
no,
got
I'll say
stuff
one-
to say.
one more good I will say.
There we
is
go.
That
Yeah.
If I'm like getting out of like the sicko realm
Sure.
a bit,
Yes.
I do think a lot of kids that are not that familiar with roller coasters will thoroughly enjoy.
It's a
the
starter.
thrills of this coaster.
There is an audience.
Yeah, and the novelty of it doing something different.
Yeah, I mean, I think it stands to reason that it's not out of the realm of possibility that you take your family to Epic Universe and one of the kids in the group is like, you know what my favorite ride was? Curse of the Werewolf.
That's probably true.
It's
Right?
also like a starter coaster in a world where there might be something that is frightening for younger kids, right? I think if you've got a kid
Yeah.
who is of a certain age that looks at Frankenstein Manor, they're going, there's no shot you're getting me in that place because that's spooky as hell. But if they see this other coaster that's just outside in the sun, it doesn't like look scary, like they can just watch it go around. I think that's a little bit easier for parents to be like, well, let's try this one out.
But then they get to the front of the marquee and they see that giant like werewolf, and then the parents are like, "Don't worry, there's no werewolves on this
You
ride.
won't see a werewolf.
You won't see
You'll
them.
never see them.
You'll never see
If
them.
you see them, it'll be for a fraction of a second."
Yeah, I think generally my biggest issue with this ride, as it stands, is how long the low capacity and how long the wait is. I think if it was consistently 30 minutes or less, I would be more okay with it because then it is a good filler ride.
Yeah, no, I think you made a very, very apt point earlier when you said this is a filler attraction with a non-filler wait.
Yeah.
This is like if you had to wait 55 minutes for filler magic.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Or like any of
or
those
like
rides.
Yeah.
Dumbo. You'd be mad. But
Dumb. Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah,
so it's like, I think to be the big, because every time I ride it with Express, I go, huh, and I get off. But I just think like, but I just think like, Yeah, that's the problem. Is again, like you said, people look at the wait and they go, "Oh, it's got to be popular if it has
must
an
be
hour-long
good.
wait."
Do you think that's what Universal Creative had in mind when they were designing this ride? Like on a whiteboard, they were like, "We want everyone who gets off this ride to go, huh?" Or we want them to say, there's more, right? There's a lot.
It is
the
an
one.
interesting choice that like two of their coasters that are capable of taking in like the most amount of people in terms of like thrill level. I'm not including hiccups in this. It's Minecart Madness and this have pretty low capacities.
Oh, it's wild.
Disregarding the quality of the rides, if you have something like Minecart Madness, where they must have clearly been looking at us like, look, this is not going to eat a bunch of people. You'd think they'd be like, all right, we need the other family coaster in the world right next to it. That we need that to at least pump a lot of people through then.
Yeah.
Here, I'm taking this laptop closer to me so we could bring in the live audience.
Oh my gosh, is it time?
Oh, it's time.
Yeah.
It is time.
Any other final bads here?
I think we've nailed it. I think really
I do. Yeah.
it's just
I feel bad. I'm gonna be honest. I feel bad. I feel bad, guys.
That's
I feel
a bad.
yeah.
I feel bad that I am going to own it myself. I feel like I've been particularly snarky and mean about this ride. And I honestly came in here with good vibes. I didn't want to do that. But goddamn, this ride sucks.
This is
It's
I
like-
gotta say, and we get harped on this so much for the amount of times we talk about kinetic energy.
Yeah, I know. It's
My
becoming
final
meme.
bad is saying that this is one of the only times where I've thought the kinetic energy of this attraction is actually a detriment to the world.
Interesting. Yeah, it's so interesting that you bring that up. As you were talking about that, Byron, I was thinking, like, how would I sum up my thoughts on it? It's just sort of like, in a world that feels so complete and full and alive in a very unique and specific way within Dark Universe, this does feel both half finished and out of place. So, like, it's a very weird sort of discordant look with this attraction as it compares with the world at large.
Yeah, because everything else in the world, like Burning Blade, Frankenstein, Manor Dot Steakhouse, it's like scary and looming, and you don't really know what's in there, so it kind of adds to the theming. And then this is just like plopped in the middle of it without any kind of like barrier around it. I agree that we need more forest so that we can't just see it all in the middle of Darkmoor.
Yeah, it doesn't really kind of feel lost when it's in the middle there. And it's funny because the other two, like Hiccups and Minecart, are incredibly well
Dude, Hiccups
done in
is
regards
so
to
good.
adding to the aesthetic of the
It's
land.
so
It
good.
just
I fucking love that.
That ride, that's in my
I
top
wish.
3 at Epic. That
And yeah,
ride is
1000%.
so good.
Easy, very easily it is for me as well. It's a fantastic ride.
They crushed that attraction.
That's what's so bewildering though about this ride is that
That's why
it's the same audience that they're aiming for, and yet
it's got to be BOGO
The
Coaster.
mark missed.
I think
has to
it's
be a
BOGO
BOGO
Coaster. I think that's the answer.
that's gonna be I'm gonna call this now BOGO. from now on. Let's go get on BOGO because why not?
I mean, it's
BOGO's
true, though.
5 minutes. It's a good deal. Hello everybody. Is everybody trickling in? Could you hear me? Live chat. Are you here?
FYA holes assemble.
Guys. Now remember, if you're here in this live chat, it could. I'm going to type in the chat here. Hold on. Kyori, what's going on? Okay. While everyone trickles in, a reminder: you were here to defend the honor of this ride. I have to admit it to you. We've been recording for about an hour and a half. Not a lot of nice things to say about this ride, so we're gonna need your help. This feels like a Universal pre-show like video. Like it's always like, hey everybody,
Yeah.
we need your help
We need
tonight.
your
Yeah, we
help
do.
to fight the robots.
Boy, do we.
Wow, this is so cool to do this on a normal episode. Because we normally only do this in World Class Kangaroo Court. It is now time for the World Class Tests. This is a rubric of 10 tests painstakingly devised by Byron and myself to determine if an attraction is world class. To receive the highly coveted World Class Pass, the attraction must pass 7 out of 10 tests. A score of 6 out of 10 leaves the attraction up for debate for World Class Pass standing, and anything lower than 6 out of 10 is an automatic fail. Now, before we do get into this, I just am genuinely curious. Any guesses from Molly, Ellen, and Byron here of what this is going to land at? We don't normally do this, but I think it's funny now that we have an audience. Before the rubric, just speaking on your own, what would you give this attraction out of 10?
I think it's going to get a 4.
Oh, you do? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I actually was going to say 4 as well.
Oh, really? I was going to say 3. I'm going to say 3.
I'm at a 5.
Oh, interesting.
Any folks in the chat? Joe says yellow. It's a good
10.
point. That is a good hit. Molly says I was thinking 4. Amanda says 6. Sonoma says 10. Okay, let's kick this off, starting with the average tourist test. Does the experience of this ride justify the average wait time? And as we learned earlier, Byron, the average wait time is what now?
49 minutes.
49 minutes. Thoughts on this?
No.
This is what I said for that was my biggest gripe with the ride was that the ride does not justify the 49-minute average wait. I think 30 minutes or less, fine. 49, too long. Almost an hour.
I would wait. No way. Absolutely not. I would not wait an hour for this. I mean, you could all chime off in the chat if you think this ride is worth 60. I know you're here to defend this, but my oh my. I think 30 minutes tops. Trevor C says 49 minutes. You could lap Monsters Unleashed. Hannah says,
couple times,
oh, no.
actually.
I think I would do 30 minutes after a trip to Burning Blade. We all get a crossbow and bring it to the line. We drink it for 30 minutes in the queue, and then we're happy on the ride.
Nearly Clearly says, I almost missed a flight because this was our last ride.
What a way.
Oh
my God.
I hope
Not
you made
worth
the
missing your flight for.
Agreed.
And here's somebody in the chat defending the ride. Surf Cloud says 60 minutes is fine, according to my lawyer who wrote it.
Wow.
So there it is. There's that. Byron, what do you think here?
I'm kind of with Molly on this. I think you got to go to the Burning Blade Tavern, grab a bevy if you're into that, or if not, a mocktail of some sorts, and just have something to enjoy.
A line beer?
In line. They got those tasty, what are they, little pretzel bites or whatever too nearby.
The Frank's Head?
The
Frank's Head.
bites.
I know you love Frank's Head.
I love Frank's Head.
The burning cold cheese bites from the Burning Blade are delicious.
Or the garlic pretzel. If you really want to stave off any vampire in the vicinity, get that garlic pretzel.
Yeah.
So there's ways to make this more tolerable, but in terms of the spirit of this test and the quality of the ride itself, 49 minutes, oof, yeah.
No, I think we're
It's
all
not
going to
gonna-
be... I know you folks tried in the chat here to influence our decision, but it's
Not
just
too hard.
I mean, I think we could all be a little honest
We
with
appreciate
ourselves.
the honesty.
There's no way. I think this is going to be a unanimous fail. That's unfortunate. But hey, that's why it's just test 1. We have test 2, which is the smartphone test. Does the queue of this ride have enough to keep you off of your phone? Not literally, but does the queue offer enough immersion to keep you entertained? This is going to be interesting because we were kind of singing this ride's praises when it came to at least the effort put into the queue here. That being said, it's basically switchback, so I don't know.
I don't know because a lot of what we were complimenting is not really in the queue. It's in the surrounding area. We were giving lots of compliments to the wagons and the wolf structure. That's not actually in the queue.
No.
Yeah, it's ooh, more to come perhaps. And then it's...
Really what you're waiting for is the shade, which is the last 15% of the queue.
The tarot cards are cool.
I mean, has anybody here or in the chat actually stood in this line for longer than 30 minutes? Because that's who I'm interested in talking to, because I have stood in this line for about 20 to 30 minutes, and that felt long. And it was just enough stuff in the queue to kind of keep me okay, I could see they put some stuff in here. We just talked about earlier before you guys joined as well that apparently some of the Universal creatives have their hair in jars in this.
Yeah, and on the banners, the poem, the wolf poem is on banners in the queue.
You're talking about minutes. We're talking about 4 to 6 minutes of activity in a 49-minute average wait. So what's happening with the other 44 minutes? Is sort of where I'm at. Is
I'm not sure.
I just don't think there's enough going on.
Yeah.
And I will admit, if I saw this in a Six Flags park or something more regional, I'd be bravo.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
Let's go to some priority arguments here from the chat to see if they sway our opinion here. Joe says, I think it's fun to kind of look at the details and find the lore. Molly said, I waited about 45 minutes. I liked the line, but it wasn't something I'm still talking about. Okay, so that's not really arguing for it there. Game Auteur says, yes, in the express line, so kind of on the same wavelength that you guys were on there. And then Asoma says, I will say, even if the line is 60 minutes, it'll all be in that shape.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's better than the Hiccups queue.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I think it is better than the Hiccups queue.
Unless you really want to read all those rock pillars. But I mean,
this is actually a good point. Nearly clearly, definitely better than most regional park queues, and I do appreciate the shade. But is it enough?
In a park that doesn't have a ton of shade, it is good to have shade in the queue.
the spirit of the test is it keeping you off your phone though? Like is shade keeping me off my phone? No, shade is like is making me less miserable.
No, I like that. That's that he's bringing it back.
It's just going to be too samey for too long.
Yeah.
If it did have that Maleva animatronic giving some sort of pre-show, I might be willing to pass it.
If she
but it
explains the
doesn't.
tarot reading, Byron, I'm fully aligned with you. Like if she sat down and explained the tarot reading,
Yeah.
I'm in.
I think if I have my line beard, my friend's there, maybe I'm not on my phone. But that's not about the queue. That's about the fact that I'm talking to my friends.
That's just by virtue you have great friends.
Yeah.
You know, that's not
They're
that's no
entertaining.
testament to the queue.
Yeah.
Okay, well the polls are closed. If you're in line, get out of line. We're gonna have to make our vote now. I'm gonna go fail on this one personally. Byron, what do you got?
I got to go fail.
Okay, then it's up to you two.
I might give a curve if it was a regional theme park, but I can't let Universal slip by.
Yeah.
I'm being honest too. I'm not trying to be nasty here. I think that's a legit fail.
I think it fails because all the cool stuff we said is not in the queue. It's outside of it. So all the flowers are before you get in there.
Okay, well, that's not a great start for this ride. We were at 0 for 2. Let's move to test number 3. Hey, we still got some time. It might, I don't think so, but it will be okay. Okay, test number 3. The Tony Stark test. How innovative is this attraction? Does it push theme park tech forward? Oof. It's a off-the-shelf mock spinner, so...
I don't know if it's off the shelf. It's a BOGO, probably.
It's BOGO.
It is a moderately modified shelf-style attraction that has had some set pieces that are static built around it.
JJ says it pushes mannequin design. That's true. You got to credit that.
Upright to being one arm forward.
This ride is huge for the mannequin community. Everybody was like, finally, some representation
she's a hot
for us.
mannequin at the end, and that's
Oh, yeah.
Is this the first spinning coaster with a swing launch?
Well, Joe said, is this the first heavily themed spinner?
I consider Cosmic Rewind a spinner.
It was Primeval Whirl. Would you call that a spinner? That's like a cat and mouse, but
I wouldn't say a highly themed. The theme of it
How
is like
dare
basically
you in
like a
Dinoland.
roadside carnival.
I'm Dinosaur and Dinoland's #1 fan, so how dare you?
Yeah, you usually had like a
Hey, I'm
breakdown
not saying I don't.
episode
I just
of it.
don't think it's that themed.
Yeah.
Cosmic
Especially-
Rewind is a controlled spin, as CGK24
It
points
is.
out,
It's
but
the
this
Omni
is
coaster.
technically still a spinner.
I mean, if you want to go, let's go extreme mock spinner with a Silver Dollar City's Time Traveler.
Yeah, somebody actually in the chat here is basically saying that this is just a worse version of Time Traveler. That's Game Auteur. Automatic fail. It's just a worse version of Time Traveler.
Like Crush's coaster in Paris, wouldn't that be a spinner too?
That is, and I believe that I don't believe that's mock. I believe that's Mauer. But anyways, that one doesn't use a launch. It's in the dark, but it is highly themed. So
it's very themed.
Actually, I thought that was actually really fun. More fun than this coaster.
I love
so,
Crush's coaster.
yeah, just awful capacity. But
Joe says Crush is almost a wild mouse. And also kudos to the chat. I really do feel like that was a valiant effort put in to try and push this one over the line, but I'm still going to have to vote. This is a fail, unfortunately. What do you guys got?
I can't find anything. There's so many other swing launches, so maybe you could say it's the first with a swing. I can't think of another one that has a swing launch, but there's definitely plenty of multi-launch spinning coasters already. And there's just so many other coasters with a swing launch. I can't quite get it there.
And there's other coasters that have the free, it's an uncontrolled spin, quote unquote, right? So, but no.
Also, somebody mentioned that Crush coaster, I think, is a Vekoma, if you were wondering.
Ooh, other people got computers in front of their faces, so I don't want to say it's not a Vekoma, but
And now Sonoma says no. Byron's right. It's a
it's a Mauer, isn't it?
Way to go, Byron.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a test.
Dude.
That one
And you
was
passed it
Yeah.
on the live stream,
dude.
baby.
Yeah. Crushed
That's
it.
why he is the Pooh Bear. Okay, well we're gonna fail this then, unfortunately, guys. Moving on to test number 4, which is the Hollywood test. Could the story or world presented in this attraction be a feature-length movie? Now here's an opportunity
Yeah.
for a point. I
It
think
is.
it is based off of a movie. I would never know that. I have to say.
Yes. This.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's a universal monster. We've talked about it already. There are countless Wolfman movies, and I do think you could make one with hot Mileva as like a new reboot.
How could you
But-
know she's hot though? We don't see her face.
The
She doesn't-
eyes.
The
Those
mystique,
piercing
Ryan.
eyes.
It's the mystique.
Okay.
It's her vibes.
Yeah, it's her
That's the
vibes.
vibes.
The vibes
She
are
has
high.
She has hot
She's so
vibes.
still. She has a
Yeah,
stillness
she
to her.
has
that
a
I
just
find very
quietness
sexy.
about her. I find
an intrigue.
enticing.
If I saw her at a bar, I'd go over and be like, "Me and my wife, we like your vibe. You should come join us."
Where'd you get your sheer mask?
Yeah, I kind of wish they hadn't done 2025 Wolfman and waited and done one with this.
That would have been good.
Yeah.
Is there like a Darkmoor dating app? Are we gonna see
Yeah.
like Victoria on there, Dracula?
Drax grips out? Who's into grips?
This is a somewhat decent point here, I would say. Kelly912 says, absolutely, you also never know when or where you're going to see the werewolf, much like you would in a scary movie. And I will say, before we even got to this test, Alan had mentioned that it is pretty hazy at best that you are now cursed by the werewolf and you are a werewolf walking off of this ride. The fact that that is what is actually happening, and I didn't really even clock that, it's not a lot in terms of storytelling here. I mean, I guess it is based off of a movie. We really want to shoehorn it, but
The execution is pretty abysmal. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sets the stage properly for it. You're walking into a wagon camp. You meet someone who I guess doesn't know.
it's
So much of this would be solved if they just had like something
Yeah.
that resembled a pre-show.
The tarot
100%.
cards do tell you you're going to become a werewolf. I remember from doing the research on them. I don't remember exactly what the cards are, but they tell you that's going to happen. And then at the end, when you see the mannequin, she says like, "Uh-oh,
You're cursed.
You're-
You carry the bite
you
with you.
carry it
Like,
with you
it's-
now." So I think it could be a movie.
It could be.
I was
Listen,
confused at the end because the voice was coming, but there was no movement, so I just thought God was talking to me. I was just like, what's happening right now?
You picked now? Like,
God? Am I having a stroke? Anyways, there's some really good arguments here. Kierce says, you didn't say it had to be a good movie, so
That's
it passes.
true.
There could be you could run with the whole Guild of Mystics kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
CGK24 says the execution is decent by coaster standards. Kat said writing it at night, I for real felt the story. So Liza said you could be cursed to become a mannequin. Very Twilight Zone there.
very much so.
And I think actually the most kind of like measured take we have here is from Sarah saying, given what Universal did in marketing, it could pass. But if they try to base it on the ride, hard pass. I mean, I think they're meaning hard
Yeah,
fail
the
there.
execution is.
But it was based off of a movie, that's for sure. I mean, we have some confirmation of that. So I think we could shoehorn this one in. I don't feel guilty about it. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I feel a little guilty.
Like I will say this, there's this is like when Max and I were walking onto the queue, and I told this to Molly too. It's like when you walk and you sort of see the trailers, I'm like, there is something straight out of like D&D books called it's called The Curse of Strahd. There's a setting that has identical like vibes and setup, so that story can exist. There is like it can be based. I think you can pass this. Like it's not like strong, but it could be the setting of a film.
It passes because like you kind of just said though that like, well, the plot is vibes, and the vibes.
Yeah.
1000%.
Yeah, the plot's
I thought,
vibes.
hey, we're giving you we're giving you a canvas, Ryan, and what you paint on that canvas is up to you.
It's very
That's
clear
fair.
you're
Yeah,
going
you're
into
right.
the forest. You're escaping a werewolf. Let's pass it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, CGK24 to quote Anthony Fontano, I'm feeling a weak pass on this one,
Yeah.
and you know what? I'm thinking we're back
Yeah.
because that's a,
pity
pass.
That's
pass,
a pass.
perhaps.
That's not a pity pass. That is a legitimate. That's a genuine pass.
It's a
right
pass
there.
party.
Pass. Okay, moving on to test number 5, which is the Simpson test. How likely is this to be replaced with something new? This is going to be absolutely fascinating to me because I don't think they're going to take this ride out anytime soon, but I do think that there are major changes on the way. And I'm not even saying that from like a hopeful kind of thinking perspective, but curious what you guys think as I dive into the chat here.
I'm of the opinion where it's not going to be replaced anytime soon, and that's not by virtue of anything other than the fact that Epic Universe is so young. So it would be absolutely wild to me to throw more money at this. I think what you do is the first on the list of things to be updated.
Joe actually has a good thought starter here. How big is the footprint? Like what could actually go there in place of it? 'Cause
It's
it
not very
doesn't-
big.
It's not
No,
too
right?
big.
There's no show building.
I think you could improve it, as we talked about, like without much effort, like animatronics. Like I feel like you're right that I think they'll keep it, but they'll make it better pretty quickly.
I think on the expansion of the land of any of these worlds, they will likely say, well, during the expansion of Dark Universe, Curse of the Werewolf is going to experience some extended downtime as we do some updates.
Let me ask you this, and this probably frames the question the best. 25 years from now, is this ride still there in any version of it?
I don't think so.
I wonder, because like it feels like it would be a big pain in the ass to remove this.
I think it's going to stay.
I think it stays. They just theme it better and make it better. Like, I think they add more trees and make it less just sitting right there. And I think they add
100%.
animatronics.
It's just the netting. They got to figure a way around the netting.
Sonoma
or at least to
15.
make it seem a little more, I don't know. It's
Thematic?
Yeah, more trees will definitely help when that grows in. I also think it'll stay because it is in a plot of land that's kind of hard to throw anything else substantial, and a big reason why I think they moved the theater show, which was going to be on the outskirts so they'd have more room for it, is that this is lower risk, it still has demand, and now they do, if they so choose, can build another Dark Universe attraction where this attraction was originally supposed to be, or the theater attraction was supposed to be.
I mean, this is
So
also
I think they'll add on to Dark Universe on that outskirt plot of land before they do anything to this.
Joe mentions it's way cheaper to just overhaul this than replace it, which is a very good point. Like it would cost a fair amount of money to get this out of there, not to mention very not great to look at downtime for Darkmoor in general. But I'm struggling here because I agree that that's the case. Financially, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, but thematically, it just looks so fucking strange in the middle of this world that I feel like eventually they're going to want to rectify that. And
I don't think the average tourist care enough.
I
to
also
be
think
honest.
that, and I also think most of the time in theme parks, it's like better to have another ride than not have that ride. You know what I mean? Like, if there's nothing that can fit right there, it's better to have one more coaster that people could do and one more ride that people could do than not have it.
No,
and the demand is there. The wait is 49 minutes on average. So
that's basically, I mean, somebody just made that point in the chat where they said that this is basically the land's Flight of the Hippogriff. Like, it's better to have at least something. And that came from Sonoma 15. It's just, the thing is, Flight of the Hippogriff isn't an eyesore.
No, it's...
Yeah, I think if the solution is grow bigger trees, I think it sticks, right? Like, I think if that's ultimately the solution is theme netting, grow larger trees as long as they don't impede track, then I think it's fine.
CGK says, need to remind you all the average wait is 45 minutes. The average public doesn't care that much about theming. There's totally demand for it. However, how much of that is demand and how much of that is very poor capacity, I don't know. But, I mean, there is something to be said about that, I suppose, right?
Probably
Okay,
both.
it's voting time. What do we got here? Molly, let's start with you.
I think it'll be around. I think it will just be better. So I don't think it's going to get replaced anytime soon.
Yeesh. I mean, I think it'll be around. I think it's going to look entirely different than it looks today.
But it'll still be there.
But it'll still be. I think the bones. If we're looking at the bones of this, the bones are. It's still going to be the same bones.
I truly feel this in my bones. I actually am going to fail this. I don't think it's going to be there much longer. I honestly think in 10 years it's going to be gone. That's maybe I'm crazy. We can return to this, but I'm going to fail it. Byron, what do you got?
I'm a pass. It's going to stay.
All right. That was very, very firm.
Just right on the money.
Now, like, I personally feel like the land could actually benefit if it was removed. Like, just the overall vibe of the land, even if it was just forest that you could kind of walk through and have like interactive, like kind of like walkthrough experiences. But they're gonna keep it. People are riding it. It's keeping,
Yeah, I think the average guest does. Like the chat saying, I think the average guest doesn't care the way we do about the theming.
That's a pass then, and that is now what we had 2, 4, 5. So we're on our way to at least 4.
And I will say, when they're building this, they knew exactly what they were doing. Let's be real.
I don't think they did.
This coaster is doing.
I think you're giving them a lot.
This coaster is doing exactly what they thought it was. Even when I was looking at construction photos and stuff, I was like, oof, like, I know exactly what this is going to be, and that's what it was.
That's true, because I remember even when we were talking about rides that we were excited about, I was weirdly excited for this one, and you were like, "You got to get your expectations
I had
down."
this as my dishonorable.
You did.
I said this was going to be the most disappointing ride at Epic Universe.
Yep, you were right. You were right. You know, when you're right, you're right. Let's move on to test number 6 here, which is the sleeper cell test. Is there a sound or soundtrack on this ride that, if heard outside the park, would immediately activate you like the Manchurian Candidate or the Winter Soldier and place you on this ride? We were already talking about this earlier before the chat arrived, or the jury rather, that there's a lot of missed potential here in terms of added soundscape to this ride. A lot of it is outside the attraction, but on the attraction itself, I don't think anything, personally, from my experience, I would remember.
What about
like,
her
from this
voice?
ride. I did think that was my guy, JC. I thought that was Jesus Christ.
Well, that would still put you back. I don't know what she says off the top of my head, but I know if I heard it right now, I would know it was her.
The moon is no longer your friend.
Molly, I'm confident that if I were to take her little spiel and just cut out words of it and put them all together and then have 10 other ladies just record those words, you would not be able to pick out who it is.
Can anyone recite a prominent line that she gives?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Liza says you are all now werewolves. That's what she says.
I think she says something of that nature. I just once again, I've only been on this 2 times. I had a hard time making out whatever.
I thought she was a
Milena
little more
saying.
cryptic than that, but maybe not.
She was like, please help me move. Help me find my face.
Yeah, I think that the most iconic sound is a werewolf noise, but I wouldn't then put it myself on the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
the
I'm just
howl.
like, oh,
No
that's a
way.
werewolf. Like,
Look, if there's a signature like howl of like the werewolf, kind of like you hear on like Matterhorn or something like that. Like I could buy that, but I can't think. I don't know. You all have been on it much more. So maybe like if you could pick out like a distinct sound of the howl, which I don't actually think you hear on the ride, but it's like I think you could hear it maybe more when you're like walking like nearby.
Sonoma 15 says there's a little sting that it does as it goes through the land, and that's stuck in their brain forever. I don't know if I don't know the sting that Sonoma is referring to. Chat, sound off if you know this sting.
Someone's saying
Sonoma's
that she
referring
says something about being beware of the moon. I do think that's what I think that's what I could remember, maybe.
Well, that happens at launch, though. Like, that's when you launch, she's like, beware the full moon rises. And then, like, you do this. But I think the sting of, like, there's a 3-chord progression that is bump, 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 and then it growls, and you hear the screams as they go past you. But, I mean, you've got to be standing, like, at Burning Blade to be able to get that in its entirety.
I do love that Ethan just joined the chat here and then just immediately just said, nah.
There's a music note that I can hear when I'm standing outside the Burning Blade waiting for it to catch on fire that is very indicative of the ride being right by you.
That's not just like a Pavlovian go drink a Dr. Jekyll and Hyde shot noise.
No, that's like I'm standing right there and it's like I hear this music cue up and it's like, oh,
it's
I
just
know.
Alan has that noise programmed on his phone.
Time to get a
Guys,
beer.
you'll never believe it.
Is there anything like right before the launch, like when the ride's starting, that we could work with here?
Zoe says we are grasping, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So, like, there is minimal musical cues in this attraction. I think you have like one that is not even projected on the ride. I think it's out of the ride to like guests on the ground. So I think, I struggle to. I think all of us, if I were to like, you get off that. If you step off that ride and I go, hey, do you remember what the music was? Nobody's like, yep.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
There's no way. No, if somebody even in the chat was like, I couldn't pick this woman's voice out of a lineup. I couldn't. There's no way. There's absolutely no way.
1,000%.
Maybe it's just it needs more time to marinate in my psyche, perhaps. But I'm gonna fail this.
I also think
what do you guys got?
The power of Danny Elfman throughout the rest of the land is too strong.
That's true.
Too strong.
It's too
It is too
overpowering
strong.
in my brain.
Good point, Mols. Good point.
The power of just the rest of the world is too strong
It's too strong
compared to this.
Because I could quote a lot of Monsters Unchained.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too.
This is a
These guys
fail.
just don't get along.
It's a no for me, dog.
It's a no. He's gonna hit us with it's the Randy Jackson. It's a no for me, dog.
For the fact that I can quote like 20 things from Monsters Unchained, for that reason I'm out.
Damn.
That's a fail for me.
Well, we had a nice moment there where we had 2 in a row, but then reality came a calling. Moving on
down.
to test number 7. This is the premature detraculation test. Does this ride finish too soon, or is it a good length? Some rides last too long.
You put a little extra on that one.
Hey, that soundtrack though,
I'm
Brian.
Bringing it way down
Just
low.
put me at the end of the ride. They don't even know what her face looks like.
And I move.
They don't know. That could be her voice.
I don't know, Alan. What didn't you? That person that you were riding next to, they had probably some thoughts.
1,000%. Like with before chat, you joined us. I was talking about our most recent ride experience on this attraction was we ended the ride and the people sat directly in front of us. We're looking at each other like, yeah, we've got to launch again, right? We're definitely going to go for more. And they were convinced that the attraction was going to continue because by their logic, like we've waited 49 minutes on average for this, and it's got to be more than just what we did.
I was shocked to hear you say that it's 2 minutes long.
I was shocked when I read that. I was like, there's no fucking way this is 2 minutes long. I thought it was
like 70 seconds.
I mean, I wonder how much of that is like lift hill and not the actual like the coaster time itself. Because the coaster time, it can't be more than a minute. I mean, it feels crazy.
I felt like I was staring at a mannequin for 2 minutes. So does that count?
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe.
Game on Tour says this felt like 30 seconds. Liz says, I knew it was short, but it was shorter than I expected. That's gotta hurt some pride there. Kierce says, I expect a quickie from this ride, and I'm satisfied when I get off. Then I go straight to Monsters. There you go.
That's actually kind of how I feel because people from team member previews were really dogging this ride, and so I thought it was going to be half as long as it was. So I, again, got off and went, but I also think it needs to be longer.
Benham says, I don't think it's ridiculously short as people say it is. I think it's like a little extra 10% would be satisfactory.
Benham,
and I actually think
agree.
I agree with that as well, but it still misses the mark. But not by like the chasm that people are making it out to be, perhaps.
No, and I let's give the ride, so let's give it its like a benefit of the doubt here. Part of that is because the track itself is so short. So you're seeing the same thing over and over again. So your brain is telling you it's not that long. So like you are, and listen.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I was about to say, it sounds like you're saying like it only feels like I'm 5'9" because of these awful bones I have.
Kind of. No, but like the ride feels that short because you're like, oh, I've seen the same thing 4 times.
It's going to be a fail for me. Let's go down the line here again. Byron, what do you got?
I unfortunately have to go with the fail, if I'm being honest. It's just a little too short. People are waiting too long.
They are waiting
for
too
the
long.
length of this, and it's not. This is not Flight of the Hippogriff. It's supposed to do a little bit more, even if it is family friendly.
Molly, what do you got?
I unfortunately have to fail it as well. Again, I don't think it's as bad as everyone made it out to be, and I was delighted that you went through the track more than once, but I do think you need a little bit more.
Alan?
Fail.
You look so sad right now.
It's sad. It's sad because I want every attraction to be like 10
This
out of
kicks
10
ass.
A plus. This is amazing. But this is just so sad because I'm like, yeah, objectively looking at it, it's a fail.
I mean, you need the valleys to appreciate the mountaintops. So, you know, right now we'd be walking through a valley. By the way, I did see a notification from Riverside. Trevor, if you're out there, it says your battery's at 20%. You might want to plug that in. Just a PSA.
And that your stove's on.
I think it's really funny that Riverside tells me what your guys' battery level is. It also lets me see what you're doing right now. Okay, moving on to test number 8, the Run It Back test. Is there enough in this experience offered to warrant multiple re-rides? Oh boy. Do you have enough bounce after this ride to ride it again? Oh, man.
No!
I think yes.
Okay, here we go.
Really?
Yeah,
I think
all right.
because you don't know how much it's going to spin, there is some... I'm going to take out the horrible length of the queue. But I'm going to say, like, because of the uncontrolled spin, there is some amount of rewritability.
Dude, I think that's an incredible argument because just the spinning nature, yeah.
No, I'm 100% there.
If you took out the fact you had to wait almost an hour for it, if it had a 10-minute wait, you would go a couple times.
Because it is a little 10% perhaps too short.
Yeah.
For some people, if they're just like, hey, you want to spin, like, go again? To Molly's point, absolutely. Like, well, yeah, I didn't really spin that time. I'd love to try again. And then in terms of being a little too short, I'm thinking like, hey, look, I still had some fun. Wish it was a little bit longer. Let's go again.
I'm going to try and look for that jacket.
It's an interesting.
good luck.
There's a red jacket, the red jacket from American Werewolf in London. But I will say this is an interesting lens to examine this through, and I'm curious what you guys are going to land on, because we had this debate recently with Haunted Mansion, and one way to frame this question is if the CM or the team member, as you are on the ride, said, "Hey, you want to just stay on and ride it again?" Are you saying yes? And Byron was making the argument that most people would say no for Haunted Mansion because of the length of the ride,
among other things.
Whereas this ride, very short, and you get like, oh, maybe I'll spend more. So I actually, in an insane way, feel like more people would say yes to this ride than Haunted Mansion. Is that crazy to say?
I hear you.
Okay, oh no, I'm about to get broken up with.
And what I will say in response is, the reason they're saying yes isn't because they enjoyed the experience. It's because they thought it was too short. So like,
yeah,
that's kind of where I am.
I generally think, though, with that question, thrill rides are going to get people to say yes again more than a dark ride. Generally speaking, you get the experience of the dark ride, but people want that thrill again. And so I think even if it's an amazing attraction like Haunted Mansion or Pirates, people might say no compared to like a roller coaster again. I used to work at Primeval Whirl, and when we'd offer people re-rides, they acted like we gave them $1 million. And like, I would argue this ride's better than Primeval Whirl. So I do think there's some amount of like, if I was sitting on this ride and they said, "You want to ride again?" I'd say yes, absolutely.
Kat said I had bounce after this, for what it's worth. Yeah. I did see most of the chat is saying they would definitely re-ride this. There was only one person that very adamantly was saying that they would not rewrite it, and I think it's Ben, actually, who we heard from earlier. Ben says that shitty figurine at the end does leave me with a sour taste. That makes me want to not come back. I think that's fair, and I truly, I'm not exaggerating. When I first saw that figurine, I was like, what is going on right now? This is a multi-billion-dollar theme park.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing right here?
I have enough fun coastering on this.
Sure.
That I would like to do it again.
Joe said, "I thought I rolled into a spirit Halloween." Byron, let's just kill this now. What's your vote?
I'm a pass.
All right, Byron's a pass. Molly,
I'm passing it.
Alan, you look conflicted. You wanted to fail this from the beginning. It seems like.
Yeah, I think it's a fail. Like personally, I think it's a fail. I just think that this attraction, like everybody can have their own opinions about it. I will happily get on. I'm never going to say no to getting on a re-ride, but I'm not actively making the choice to do this one when I've got a 10-minute wait for Monsters Unchained.
For sure. I could see the argument. I'm also going to pass it as well, which is nice because if it would have went into tiebreaker, we would have had to make the jury decide for us. But to be honest, the jury all saying pass, other than Ben. And Ben, I hear you. I hear you. It's a nasty figurine. It's not like nasty. Like she's not doing anything like we're nasty. She's not doing anything. Is I think the nasty part.
There it is.
There it is, right there. So this is a pass. That puts us at what, 3? Are we at 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that felt good.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 more tests to get it to 4. Moving on, test number 9, the gift shop. Would you, in theory, pick up merch for this ride as you exit through the gift shop? Does this ride, oh my god, inspire you to sport your love for it?
Y'all,
have y'all seen the merch for this ride? Because it's nuts.
It's actually it's pretty good, though.
It's good merch.
Okay, that's why I didn't know where you were going with that, but I genuinely think the merch for this ride is really good. And it's honestly way better than the merch for Monsters Unchained, which sucks because I would buy Monsters Unchained merch until there was nothing left on the shelves.
I do have a lot of Monsters Unchained merch, though. I like the blueprint of Frankenstein Manor.
That one's pretty
design,
cool.
And they've thrown that on a lot of stuff, and I have bought it.
I almost feel like they went harder on the merch for this one just to make up for the fact that the
because
ride
they had to.
Isn't as good?
I appreciate, generally speaking, at Epic that there is merch for every ride because
I do like that.
That is like a lost art form. I feel like a lot of theme parks are just starting to kind of just. I mean, obviously, there's rides like Tower of Terror and Haunted Mansion that are always going to get a bunch of merch, but there's like,
of course,
try to find a piece of merch for like PhilharMagic. You're not gonna. And I appreciate.
Try and find a piece of merch for Space Mountain, even.
Yeah, and I feel like they have like leaned into the fact that every ride is somebody's favorite, so you can outfit yourself from that sweet wolf hat down to like wolf slippers and like a full Curse of the Werewolf. Like you could get the Mark of the Werewolf t-shirt. Like they have a bunch of stuff that's like ripped up and looks cool. I like this merchandise and I would buy it.
I like the merchandise, but I don't like the ride. So that's the crossroads I'm at. Like, this is I genuinely think this is some of the best merch in the park, and I also probably wouldn't buy it because I don't want to be embarrassed wearing Curse of the Werewolf.
But
it is kind of funny. It can almost be like ironic, like
right. Well, listen, I unironically have villain con stuff, so I don't know if I'm the best person to talk to about it.
You need to be committed.
But that's fair. We'll all go together, hand in hand.
True. You're right. We'll be like the toys at the end of Toy Story 3, right into the furnace.
100%. It's just, here's where I'm at. When I hear you ask the question, when you pose the question, I hear you say, does the ride inspire you to go get the merchandise?
That's the key point.
No, the ride doesn't. The merchandise inspires me because the merchandise is banging, and they did a great job on the merch. The ride doesn't make me want to go buy it. The fact that the merch looks cool as shit makes me want to buy it.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and for that reason, it's a fail for me. I'm just going to jump the gun. I think that's a fail for me because there's no world in which I would ever sport this merch.
World class merch team.
World class, yeah. Epic,
we are evaluating to see if it's a world class.
Epic merch team.
There it is.
Cooked, and
they did.
It makes me want to buy the shirt, but not the ride.
It made this worth debating.
Exactly. We got a loud boo from CGK24 after Alan and I were just like,
boos fuel me.
Although, you know what I'm gonna say? Can I pass something ironically?
Sure.
You can, sure.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'm gonna pass it because there's a really cool, looks like an old movie poster Curse of the Werewolf t-shirt that I would happily wear. And then
saw that one.
Kind of be like, yeah, it's cool. I'd be like the hipster of Darkmoor, where I'm like wearing the unappreciated rides merch, not the
until
banger.
somebody starts questioning you of like, what do you like about the ride? And you're like, they got hair in a jar.
Yeah,
it's pretty dope.
I got cool Easter eggs, and then I get to tell people that, and then I get to be a nerd and be like, do you guys know the jacket for American Werewolf in London's on it? Like,
Liza is screaming in the chat, pass, and then listen to the jury, Ryan. Here's the thing, I don't see how this is a pass. If somebody could explain to me why this is a pass in the jury, I'd love to hear it. Because Byron, you're about to make your verdict here. What do you got?
I fail it.
Damn. Oh shit. Okay.
Fail.
I'm just here for be a sucker for merchandise.
Kat says because some people like this ride. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. That is fair.
That kid we talked about earlier, that some kid's favorite ride at Epic is this ride. He's getting that t-shirt.
That's
true. That's true.
He's getting the wolf shoes. More power to him.
I'm just saying I'm not seeing a lot of werewolf merch walking around the park.
You know what? I'm changing my mind.
Oh, boy.
Look, if I'm going to be more objective,
okay.
I think the combination of knowing that some families are going to have a great time together on this attraction, you combine that with how if the offerings do look amazing, and I know if I was like an 8-year-old going on this coaster, feeling like I conquered Curse of the Werewolf, and they had the sweet like werewolf mask or hat and stuff like that or whatever, yeah, I could see a world where this passes. For who this was built for, I think it's a pass.
I think I see what's coming here. So everybody in the jury say pass or fail in the chat, and I'm going to count them because we have Alan. Did you fail this officially?
Oh, it's failed for sure.
It's a fail for me. Okay, here we go. We're going to count votes. Here we go. Oh, my God.
You don't even need to count. There are so many passes.
Pass, 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 pass. Fail, pass, yeah. Okay, well, it passes. You've done it. Congratulations, jury. That's why you were here. You were here
Wild work.
For this moment, right? One of them just says pass, comma, fuck it.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, I respect that take.
That's basically what our judicial system is like. Yeah. Whatever, fuck it.
Fuck it.
All right, cool.
It's a Tuesday?
Oh shit, I just failed it by accident. I'm sorry. I'm passing it. There we go. There we go. I'm not like that. Okay.
The merch is for the people.
The merch is for the people. Sure. That's a pass. That puts us at what? 4?
Puts it at 4.
Okay.
Hey.
Look, it's not going to get world class. It's already been ruled out of that.
But will it get a 5? Because right now we're going to the fine wine test. Has this ride aged well? Has your opinion... Okay, let's keep it in here. Let's keep it together. Has your opinion of the attraction appreciated or depreciated since your first experience? Or if it's a new ride, do you believe it will age well?
Here's what
Molly, you seem like you're jonesing. Let's go
I
to
was
Molly
just
here.
laughing because I was like, it's 6 months old. Here's what I will appreciate about this ride more. If the wait time lowers, if they add more to Epic Universe, and eventually this thing's rocking a 20-minute wait all the time, I will appreciate it more.
Alan?
I don't think it's going to get any better or worse. I think it is just it's sort of like what you see is. This is like the poster child for what you see is what you get.
You're lockstep with Hannah. I think it maintains stasis.
If you vibe with it, you're still going to love it. If you hate it, I don't know. Going on it again is going to make it any better. I think, assuming nothing changes, equilibrium maintains. This is just. I don't think it ages better or worse. I think it just stays the same.
I don't think your days, if you didn't wait too long for it, I don't think your day is made worse by riding this ride. I don't know that it was made better either, but I think it's just like...
That's the hitch, though. I think because of where the wait times are currently and because of where we see them trending, if you look at historical data, 6 months, right? And then we just project 6 months in the future, if it stays that way, I think there is a higher likelihood that your day could be made worse by waiting over an hour for 2 minutes, maybe, of this.
Byron, what do you got here?
Needed a sip of water. I have to go with a fail. This has not aged well in my mind since the first time. When we wrote it the first time around, we were kind of like, hey, that was fun. And then by the end of the day, we're like, that actually was not that good. I still feel that way. I see a world where the average wait time does go down as other attractions are built for this park. But at the end of the day, this is a low capacity roller coaster that is sitting in the middle of that world. And for the average tourist, or most people that are visiting Epic Universe, at least for the next few years, they will be looking at it and being like, ooh, screams, roller coaster, okay. And I don't think that wait time is going to fall that much unless the park attendance as a whole plummets.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty good arguments being made in the chat here. CGK24 mentions that basically this ride is such a blank slate at this point that it's really hard for it to age poorly. Because you could replace the mannequin with an animatronic within. Somebody, JJ in the chat pointed out, you can't age poorly if you start out poorly.
Nowhere to go, you know?
Nowhere to go but up. I guess that's true.
And once again, if they make...
Should that be rewarded?
No,
I don't think that should be rewarded.
It has potential, I think, to age well, but we don't have that proof yet.
I will say just in the short time of riding it, each time I've gotten on it, I've liked it less. And that's because it's just the same ride. If it improves later down the line, which I think it will, I'd like to believe it will. I think this is a creative team that really has a lot of pride in their product. And clearly they weren't given what they needed to make this ride be what it is. So I have to believe that it's going to improve. That being said, I have no actual proof that that's what's going to be occurring.
I did see someone, I think it was Hannah in the chat, said they would rather spend an hour in line for this than 4 hours in line for Battle at the Ministry, which is an interesting question.
Yeah,
4 hours is, that would be awful.
And people are spending 3 to 5 hours in that queue.
Kat said I liked it more than I thought I would from Ryan and Byron's opinions of it. So it's very personal, to be honest. And I mean, these are all opinions. Yeah. It seems to be the general consensus is this is a very disappointing ride. And I guess what we're trying to figure out right now, is it going to continue to be disappointing? Do we believe that they will improve it? I could say that if they change literally nothing and it stays the same ride, sure, it won't age poorly because there's no animatronics to break down. But it's still a bad ride then. So I'm struggling with this one because I don't know.
I'm also struggling because ideally it gets better.
But do we know it's going to get better? But we don't know
it's going to get better. The only thing that I hope changes is the wait time. Because I feel very strong that if this had a 30-minute average wait, it would be fine.
I think we could all agree that definitely, without a doubt, the wait time is going to gradually go down as the years go by. As Epic expands and adds more attractions, maybe we get a Creature from the Black Lagoon boat ride. That takes away some capacity. That's a people eater. I think it's safe to say that this ride will probably go down in wait time. And by that metric, you know, if it's 30 minutes, suddenly it's not that much of a blight, in my opinion. What do you don't agree, Byron?
The annoying thing is, in our rubric, we do say that if it is a new attraction, which it is,
do you believe
it'll age well? So even if I don't have the proof, I do think that over time it will actually get better.
Zoe's going crazy. Zoe
And
says it's too
I think
soon to say.
I think we'll also accept what it is supposed to be better. As opposed to brand new theme park, we like have all these amazing new innovative attractions, and
They can't all be bangers, you know? You got to have some just fine things. And I think it will get a weird cult following.
And I think also out of all the bad attractions,
And they'll get the merch.
Of bad attractions that exist in theme parks, this one more so than others, I think has the clearest ways to improve it than most rides that are bad. Like most rides that are bad, it's just a bad ride through and through, and I'm like, there's not many things you could do to make this a better ride. This ride in particular, there are several things that you could do to make this a better ride. It's just a matter of whether or not they do them. And given the track record of Universal and how hard in the paint they're going this past decade in particular, I do think that this ride, I would like to believe that they're going to improve this ride. But so I'm going to vote pass.
if I take the rubric seriously and
You gotta take it seriously.
as a
You
new
have to.
attraction, I do believe there's plenty of potential for it to age well. It definitely won't age worse. And on top of that, I did predict that this would get a 5 out of 10. So, yeah, if I pass this,
Oh, you son of a gun.
He's like,
I'm gonna give
for
it a
selfish
pass.
reasons.
Molly, what do you officially have on this one?
I'm going to pass it, and I'm going to say it again because I think even if nothing gets improved, I think the wait time will improve, and thus automatically the ride improves.
I agree. I think that's the strongest argument. That's the one that convinced me, honestly. Because that one is not like, I hope creative.
Yeah, it's not, I hope they make an animatronic. It's...
Yeah, it's like, oh, people are going to get tired of this ride, and it'll be more attainable.
I don't think it'll improve. I don't think it'll improve that much, if I'm being honest.
If as they open more rides, I think it will.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Creature for the Black of the Black Lagoon would help a lot.
Yeah.
But like thinking it like, how's Flight of the Hippogriff doing? Because I always feel like that's still kind of an unnecessarily long line.
That's because it's like one of the few that kids could get on, and in Hollywood at least.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it'll have like a 10-minute wait. Like it'll be like, and 50, 40, 50, 60 minutes throughout the day. But then towards the end of the day, it's got it's like a walk on.
Yeah. I mean, if it is like a 10-minute wait for a night ride on Werewolf, that's pretty good.
Liza said, guys, Black Lagoon doesn't even exist yet.
I know Black Lagoon doesn't exist yet, but it doesn't matter what's coming. Something else will come to Epic. Like there's no debate that they're not ending with these 11 rides. Like there's no
they have
question.
expansion plots built in.
There's no question that more rides are coming.
It will also further cement this into being a supporting ride. And the more that people accept that this is a supporting attraction.
A C ticket.
Yeah, you need C tickets. You can't have only E tickets.
It can't be all bangers.
Yeah.
Exactly. Alan, what do you got?
I'm really chewing on this one, y'all. Because what I'm hearing is this attraction is going to age well by virtue of the fact that people realize it's not that good. Is that what I'm sort of understanding?
And they're going to wait less for it.
I see what he's about to say.
So I'm struggling pretty hard with this logic. It feels like a pretty circular bit of logic we got here.
Hannah said, Ellen, I'm usually a cynic like you, but I disagree with you on this day. Give in.
It's fine. Yeah, we're allowed to have different opinions. Here's the deal. What I will do is I'll take a different route, and a route that I think is frankly more feasible than people realizing the rides see it best. Is like I will put more faith in. I'm not going to give the ride any faith. I'm going to put my entire faith in Universal Creative. And I will pass it because I have faith in Universal Creative understanding where there are easy fixes to go in and improve the ride.
I think yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Your two arguments combined, it's a strong argument. Byron and I, we offered nothing, but your two arguments were great. and thank you. And Hannah says claps for Alan in the chat. I think, honestly, claps for Mammoth Club because that is going to be a pass, and that is the end of the world-class test. This ride finishes with a score of 5 out of 10, and I think that is mainly because of the great work we've all done here.
Not world-class, but not embarrassing.
Not embarrassing.
I think that, actually, Alan and I did a video where we rode everything in the park and ranked it, and I think we put this kind of right around the 5 mark. Like,
yeah, 1,000%.
I think it's like, it's fine.
Fantastically mid.
That's good.
Aggressively average is, I think, exactly what I said about it. Is like, you are you need to know what this ride is before you get on board. It is no more or less than the sum of its parts. And there's only potential for it to be made better by either people realizing that it's only the sum of its parts or creative stepping in and making improvements.
Do you know also that I bet you if Universal Marketing marketed this ride as fantastically mid, people would ride the shit out of it. And it would get a cold following.
If they marketed it as the BOGO coaster.
The BOGO coaster, because it is. But again, thank you guys for joining us on this episode of For Your Amusement.
Thank
this
you
has
for
been amazing.
having us.
I'm going to say goodbye to the live chat now. Well, actually, I can't because I can't end the live without ending the recording. So we're just going to end the show right here. That does it for this episode of For Your Amusement. If you're watching, make sure to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Or if you're listening, please rate the podcast 5 stars and subscribe as well. And consider supporting us by joining our fourth wall over at FYApod.com. Like all these folks here who helped lift this up to a 5. And as mentioned up top, this will keep this all going, and you'll find our merch there as well.
And ad-free episodes, baby.
And ad-free episodes. But that does it for us here. Do you guys have anything that you would like to plug before we get out of here? Molly and Alan.
Yeah, check out Mammoth Club on YouTube. We've got lots of epic videos. We've got lots of fun stuff. This was really fun. Thanks for having us. Last time I did Hagrid's, so this was kind of a challenge for me because that was a different idea.
Different vibes for that one.
Alan fought a battle both times, I think.
Oh my God.
That's
true.
I was on a Reddit thread about this ride, and somebody asked, I haven't been yet, is it kind of like Hagrid's? And just one of the comments to that was just LOL. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
That's accurate.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for enjoying this fantastically mid podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you all on the next ride. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.